News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Missing Stevensville man's body has been found. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It is Monday, September the 15th, 2014. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend. Right now it's clear and 42 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast this morning, we have a brand new news sponsor. I want to welcome Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community located in Stevensville, where they have hundreds of builders options available. Call 546-6930. According to Ravalli County Sheriff Coroner Chris Hoffman, elements of True North search dogs, Ravalli County Search and Rescue, and Ravalli County Sheriff's deputies located and recovered the body of George Bauman on Saturday. Hoffman said that Bauman, the 56-year-old Stevensville man missing since August 26, was found in heavily timbered, steep terrain in the Ambrose Creek area of Granite County, which is east of Stevensville. Hoffman said, quote, "It's likely that Mr. Bauman would never have been found without the assistance of search dog teams," end quote. Bauman's body was transported to the Montana State Crime Lab here in Missoula for an autopsy, and the investigation into his death continues. Former Ravalli County Treasurer Valerie Stamey has apparently disappeared after a series of investigations into mismanagement in the Ravalli County Treasurer's office. County Attorney Bill Fulbright says that difficulties in finding Stamey have delayed the lawsuits pending against her.
It is in limbo right now. The lawsuits were filed back when this was all being decided by the commissioners. Since that time, we have not accomplished personal service of that lawsuit on Ms. Stamey. Until that happens, of course, any type of lawsuit doesn't go forward. So it is just kind of in limbo.
Fulbright says county deputies have been searching.
She has not been located by the sheriff's deputies that have attempted to serve. We have had, the anecdotal reports of people maybe seeing her here or there, but by all appearances, it appears she is not in Ravalli County, maybe even the state of Montana.
If she can't be found, the lawsuit against her can still go forward. It will just take a different route. Fulbright says he'll approach the county commissioners to make a decision. An embattled northeastern Montana sheriff has resigned less than 2 months ahead of an election at which he appeared headed for defeat by a subordinate. Roosevelt County Commissioner Gary McDonald said two-term Sheriff Freedom Crawford turned in his resignation late Thursday. The resignation was the first reported by the Billings Gazette. A replacement had not been named by Friday. Crawford did not immediately respond to messages from the Associated Press seeking comment. This week, the Office of Public Instruction is out campaigning in support for new Common Core education standards. Missoula Public School Superintendent Alex Apostle in District 1 says he's heard only positive comments about the standards from Missoula teachers.
What I'm hearing from our staff and the few parents that I've had contact with regarding the Common Core is that they feel it's going to be beneficial in terms of providing direction and specific standards and expectations for students and our school district. And I think that's the strength of the Common Core. It gives us direction.
Apostle says there is one aspect, though, of Common Core that he personally has concerns about.
We need supplies and materials and professional development, and that's the only concern that I would have as we move forward to total implementation is the continuance of professional development for our staff and the supplies and the materials that might be needed that are above and beyond what we already need.
When asked if Missoula was working with the Office of Public Instruction on the new Montanans for Common Core campaign, Apostle said the school district was, quote, working as closely as we can. We've received a lot of support from the state on this issue, end quote. A 51-year-old Brockton man has been sentenced to 17 years in prison for stabbing a younger man to death and keeping the victim's body in a room at his house while pretending to help the victim's family and law enforcement search for him. The Great Falls Tribune reports David Lewis was sentenced Thursday by District Judge Brian Morris. Lewis pleaded guilty and made a second-degree murder in the January 11th death of 21-year-old Arman Boyd. Missoula's Community Medical Center recently announced their purchase agreement between Community and Billings Clinic Regional Care Hospital partners. With the approval of Community's board, Montana's Attorney General Tim Fox is now asking for feedback on the purchase. John Barnes with the AG's office has more.
As part of our review of the process, we have put up a page on our website that contains a lot of information about the transaction, the documents that we've received so far. It has answers to some common questions that we've been receiving. And then we just posted a comment page to make it easier for people to submit comments about the transaction.
The Montana Office of Consumer Protection launched an online form where anyone interested in Community Medical Center's proposed sale can submit comments easily.
Anybody can go to dojmt.gov, and on our homepage, there's a link to our Community Medical Center page, which includes the comment form. We will, of course, take comments over the phone, but I do think, I think about it from my own standpoint. If I were submitting a comment, I would want it to be, written on the record somehow, as opposed to, just a phone call and someone taking notes from that.
Barnes says feedback is not necessary, but will be taken into consideration. More information on the comment period is available on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. For environmental groups that contend federal officials in Idaho are violating environmental laws by killing predators and other wildlife to protect livestock and crops, have taken the first step to file a lawsuit. Idaho-based Western Watersheds Project and 3 other groups sent a letter to the Idaho office of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Wildlife Services. That is a 60-day notice of their intention to sue in federal court. Wildlife Services says it cannot comment specifically about any pending legislation. Missoula's own Victoria Valentine, the reigning Miss Montana, was in Atlantic City for the last week and a half, competing in the Miss America pageant, which was last night. The 22-year-old Valentine, a graduate of Missoula Sentinel and Biola University, is working to become a physician's assistant in Montana. She described her week to me in Atlantic City.
Preliminary competitions were Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I got to compete in talent, swimsuit, and on-stage question, evening gown, and I'm fully done with all of the preliminary competition. So within the first 15 minutes of the live telecast, they will announce the top 15.
Valentine listed the judges of this year's Miss America pageant.
Kathy Ireland, who's a model, she's the lead judge. Donald Driver, he's a player. He was in the NFL for the Packers. And Mark Sherry, who's a director for Desperate Housewives. And Lee Merriweather, she was a Miss America years ago and also an amazing actress.
Valentine, one of the 50 most beautiful young women in the country, still had the experience of being starstruck at the pageant.
We just met Chris Harrison, the host of The Bachelor, and we were just working with him for dress rehearsals for the live telecast. It was really exciting. I had a fangirl moment.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, in case you're wondering, Valentine did not make the top 15 qualifiers at last night's pageant, but she looked great on TV, where Miss New York went on to be crowned Miss America. Our News Talk time now is 6:10.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Another warm and sunny day in the Missoula area. Expect a high of right around 79 degrees as we head into the afternoon. It will be a bit chilly, though, as you head out the door with lows in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for KECI 13, your first alert station.